mail.
Thank you.
Call the meeting of the Marquette County Board of Commissioners to order. Please excuse Commissioner DePietro, who is ill, and Commissioner DeRosa is out of town, so we have a quorum. Pledge allegiance, please. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is approval of the minutes of the following meeting, the regular meeting held on September 21st, 2021, and the budget session minutes. There's an amended version. You want to bring that to, I guess everybody has it there. I can read it. It says, you approve the minutes from the budget session meeting held on September with the amendment of Commissioner DeRosa's first comment, second sentence on comment page 9 to state court security and single point of entry are not tied together.
I have another question. On page 10, where we discussed, or where a vote was taken on Commissioner DeRosa's motion to not have a single point of entry, the second and third lines reference 6 aye votes, and the following lines indicate 4 aye votes and 2 nays, which the latter is correct. So I would ask that the ayes with the list of 6 be deleted.
Motion to accept the minutes as amended.
So moved.
Support.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No proclamations, presentations, or awards. Approval of the agenda, I guess 11C would ask to have it deleted, meet in general services agreement. Needs to go on an RFQ to, if you're going to spend the rescue money, right?
Correct, that's what we asked for, just a straight bid from them, but to make sure that it meets with the CARES Act criteria and FAA standards, we're going to withdraw that and have to put out for a request for proposals.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
Further comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment? Anyone from the public that wishes to comment?
Two on Zoom.
Yes.
Two on Zoom.
On Zoom, would you please identify yourself, make comment?
Heather Rice.
Heather, you can speak if you're ready.
Brad.
Brad, if you're ready to speak, go ahead.
Good evening, County Board. Thank you, Chairman. This is Brad Newman with MSU Extension. I'm just joining here briefly to make a couple public comments, give you an update on a few things. Recently, in a follow-up to our Marquette area climate and health adaptation project, we were able to utilize some pilot project funding from the Department of Health and Human Services in Marquette Township, and working with Marquette Township and in particular, a group of Master Gardener volunteers led by our key volunteer, Casey Reinertson. We were able to do a planting at the north end of Peaks Pass. So if you've got the chance and you're looking to enjoy the colors there along the Heritage Trail, make a turn and head down under US 41 to the north end of Peaks Pass, and you will see a much improved landscape there. This was a demonstration project of using some native perennials and some other treatments to try to stabilize the hillsides there. There has been an erosion issue at that location, and there's a catch basin that's been getting some extra sediment We worked with the DNR as well, and they've stabilized the sand snowmobile trail that heads up and out of the underpass, continuing up to the north. Working with the township, there will soon be a educational sign at that same location and a bench in the vicinity. So I just wanted to mention that project because it's really been multi-years in the making with the very start of our area climate and health adaptation project. And again, this is sort of a demonstration project of how we might be able to treat certain areas to prevent erosion from extreme rains in our region. So big thanks to our Master Gardener volunteers, and thanks to Marquette Township for helping with the watering of that area, and also to the DNR. Another quick update, I actually just got back into town from Sault Ste. Marie. Right now, Michigan State University Extension is running a statewide series of workshops with each of the state planning and development regions. And so we were doing an event in Sault Ste. Marie with the Eastern UP region, and tomorrow morning we will be here in Marquette at the Northern Center. QPAD will be hosting, and we've got area units of government coming to hear about the latest on the American Rescue Plan Act dollars, basics on the rules, have some considerations of management strategies with the contracting of services with these federal dollars, and most importantly, have some facilitated discussion about immediate needs within area jurisdictions, broader community needs for which these dollars might be used, and then importantly, what are the kind of natural partnerships or collaborations that might be apparent given these stated local government needs and broader community needs. So if you're looking for a way to spend your morning, please join us at the Northern Center tomorrow morning starting about 9:30. I know we'll have several units of government there represented. So a couple updates from me, and I just want to thank you for your time and your continued support. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there another one that wants to comment on Zoom? Please identify yourself. You may speak. Public comment ends. Okay. Review of claims and accounts, total expenditures for the period September 17th through the 30th, 2021, $640,095.62. Bi-weekly payroll for the period ending September 18th, 2021, $76,126.80.
I'll move that we agree to pay the bills as presented.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Nardi, supported by Commissioner Nardine to pay the bills. Any questions on any of the bills? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No public hearings, privileged comment, or informational items. Action item, water tower lease agreement, 906 Technology. Dwayne?
Good evening, Commissioners. I bring before you a request to draft a lease for 906 Technologies. What they are proposing to do is to install a receiver transmitter out on our industrial elevated water tower at Sawyer. They want to have that there so that they can broadcast an internet signal for one of the tenants on base to provide assistance or additional internet for their needs. We had reviewed several different leases that represent leasing of tower space, and we garnered some of the language and some of the requirements of it, and we came up with a lease, and it would go 1 year and then automatic renew annually every year. The lease again would be for 906 Technologies LLC. It would be located on the Sawyer Industrial Water Tower. It would be leased to commence on the effective date of the lease. The lease rate is set at $225 per month, and that is also to include a $25 a month utility fee for the equipment that they would have based inside the tower base for their transmitter receiver. And then this would also be tied to a 2% escalator annually for a beginning revenue rate of $3,000. We'd like to get this approved so that we can move forward with providing 906 the ability to put up a receiver at Sawyer.
Move approval.
Motion by Commissioner Martin.
Support.
Mr. Elmo.
So I understand that, they're gonna be able to have a signal, an internet signal, which isn't as fast or as efficient as, say, broadband if you're connected to, say, a Charter or a Spectrum or fiber. But they said it's a lower cost one, so they're gonna try to, I talked to them, I asked them about it, so I was curious. And they said they're gonna be able to have a lower cost internet signal for people that maybe can't afford the broadband. So I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
Commissioner Martin.
I'm wondering if this is a typo under lease rate. It says the lease rate shall be $225 for the first year.
Yeah, it's left out in there per month for the first year, so it's a total lease rate of $3,000 annually on that.
Right, so that should be, the lease rate shall be $225 for the first month.
Yes, per month for the first year, yes.
Per month.
Per month for the first year.
Okay.
So my motion will take that amendment.
So the recommendation is Marquette County Board of Commissioners approve moving forward with the agreement authorizing civil costs to prepare the lease agreement in accordance with the above items and authorize chairperson to sign the agreement. So $225 plus the $25 a month for utilities. Any other comments or questions?
You know, one thing just for general information, when I talked to 906 today, is that they said they're bringing fiber in the next year to Win, Little Lake, and Sawyer, which fiber is faster than your broadband that you're getting, this DSL broadband you're getting from Charter or Spectrum, so it's a good thing. So things are getting better and better and better. So I told them, sign me up, I want the fiber.
I wish we had fiber where I live.
Right. So.
Any further questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, Rita Incorporated lease agreement recommendation.
Yes, this is in reference to the Aleutian Isle 78. This aircraft, as many of you may know, has been at the airport since 2009. It was came to Sawyer under the premise of refueling, and once it landed and their crews went for lunch, it was tracked down with U.S. Customs, and it was addressed that the aircraft illegally left Texas without paying a lot of their rates and fees down there, and the aircraft in essence was really trying to leave the country. Customs and the FBI, and I believe Administrator Urbish was there at the time, and they corralled up the aircraft, and as a crew came back to find an airplane ready to take off for another part of the world, they were met with U.S. Customs and the Sheriff's Department and the FBI, and a handful of the crew were legal, but a handful were not legal, and there was some issue with that. But long story short, that aircraft has been at Sawyer since 2009. It has gone through a handful of different owners. They initially had the aircraft housed in a hangar where they were doing ongoing maintenance, trying to make the aircraft airworthy to fly or to sell and fly out of the country. They got as far as getting a potential customer to come in and look at it, and then the sale, I believe, was halted through the Department of State because the aircraft was categorized as a weapon of war. It was a mid-air refueler for the built in the Soviet Union, and it was designed for refueling military aircraft. So with that, they came back and they demilitarized it. They removed all the tanks and all the equipment that made it a mid-air refueler, and they once again tried to sell the aircraft as just a cargo airplane, and then they removed all the military stuff and put that off to the side. The aircraft has been very unsuccessful in its sale. In fact, there has been word, I can't confirm, Mr. Urbish probably knows more on this than I, but the aircraft, we don't believe is going to leave anytime soon. Currently, we have it housed on our ramp. They pay a ramp rate, a monthly ramp rate of $1,269 per month, which comes out to roughly about $15,234 a year. They're all up to date on that payment, but their equipment that they remove from the aircraft has been stored in one of our hangars. And looking at this and knowing that the aircraft is probably going to be here for a while yet, we thought that it would probably be wise to put all of this, the ramp rate and the lease rate for the equipment, all under one lease agreement, and then be able to work in there an escalator to address the term of the lease. We submitted an LOI to the current owners, which is Marquette Incorporated, or Gallagher Law. They're located out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We submitted a LOI, they approved it, they signed off on it, and the LOI was calling for a 2-year lease agreement. We slated the space in building 400 at $2.50 a square foot, which figuring out the square footage of the equipment comes to $254, or 1,221 square feet. The aircraft ramp space is again charged at $1,269 a month. That's figured in at 88 cents per square foot. What we would do is again propose to put a 2% escalator in there on an annual basis. So the combined two rents would come in at roughly $1,524 per month. And we're looking for approval to proceed with the.
We were making $15,244 annually, is that accurate?
It's $1,524 per month, but what we are making on just the lease rate for the aircraft sitting on ramp is $15,234 annually. Now we're looking to increase that with both the lease rate and the ramp rate.
It's a pretty good renter.
Well, it's hard. It's a gift that keeps on giving. I can't believe it. It's been 12 years now. And, you know, if you just do the 15,000, Jerry, it comes up to like $180,000, but we were getting hangar rent before, so we've got to be over $250,000.
Actually, prior to the meeting, I did some quick research on it, and we're just a little less than $500,000 that we've generated from that
Why
aircraft.
has owners haven't done something with it?
Well, I believe they have been trying to sell it. In fact, they are coming up for a visit to reassess the aircraft. The challenge again is the aircraft was originally designed as a weapon of war through the Soviet Union, and I believe that has been one of the challenges that the owners have with trying to sell it to an out-of-country customer. The aircraft in the States is not really a valuable asset because it just does not meet the American standards, and then the cost to maintain an aircraft that is, the parts are all from overseas is just too high.
Well, you tell them to stay as long as they want. We're welcome to have them.
So we have a recommendation here, Board of Commissioners approve moving forward with the agreement and authorize civil counsel to prepare the lease agreement in accordance with the terms and authorizing the chairperson to sign the agreement.
Move to approve the staff recommendation.
Support.
Further comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, going down to D, I guess, is one-way de-icing liquid product bid.
The airport recently purchased a new plow truck with liquid de-icing capabilities. In last winter season, we also purchased the 5,500 pound storage tank that holds this liquid on site. The chemical compound combats facing conditions very well, and it can also be applied to surfaces in combination with the solid compound that we also purchased during extreme conditions. This addition combined with, oh, I'm sorry, there's a typo there. Bids were requested for a 4,400 pound bulk load, which is the max amount we can put into the tank for this upcoming season. We received one qualified vendor, which was to specifications, which is Nasi, Notchers, Alpine Solutions, totaling to $19,448. It has been allotted from the airfield maintenance budget for the airports and will be pursued for reimbursement through the CARES Act. Oh, I'm sorry, that 19 was a typo. The total is 23. I'm sorry.
What's the price?
The price is 23,188. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but one's gallons and one's pounds, that's why I figured that happened. Or is that wrong too?
Well,
So-
it's, yes.
See, one of them's 19,448 per 4,400 gallons, and the other one down below is per
pound,
4,400
yes.
pounds.
With the solid, I must have made that typo, so
Okay.
I apologize.
Here, I thought it was because of the pounds gallons.
I
But
know,
you're right.
I know, I'm sorry. So yes, the Nasi bid for this year is 23,000. The reason at 19 is this was the bid last year. There has been a little bit of a price increase in that, but we are looking for approval to purchase the liquid at 23,188 for the 4,400 gallon purchase.
I move we approval of purchasing this for $23,188 per 4,400 pounds.
Gallons.
No, it says pound, oh,
Sorry,
gallons,
there's two
okay.
typos there.
I
Yeah.
thought the bottom was right, okay.
Yep.
I have support.
Have we used this in the past?
We did use it last year and it seemed to work pretty well. We were learning with it as it was our first season, but in combination with either, with the sprayer, it can either spread sand or the solid with it worked really well for our season. So,
Why is this being reimbursed through the CARES Act? I thought we were trying to not use expenditures that are reoccurring.
it's our operations and maintenance budget. This would fall under under the CARES Act fully since all of our operation and maintenance, which this would fall under our reimbursement. So,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, runway de-icing solid product bid.
Yes, so this is the other product I was discussing. So we use various tools to maintain the runway surface condition, acceptable for air carrier operations. One of the most recent tools were airport-specific runway de-icing agents that provided exceptional results. Understanding these benefits and preparing for the upcoming winter season, staff was advised advertised for a purchase of additional runway solid de-icing agent. This bid was provided for a cost up to 30,000 pounds of solid runway de-icing agent on an as-needed basis over the course of this next winter season. The bidding resulted in one qualified vendor providing pricing, and one of the bidders was not to specifications. So we received a bid from Nasi Nurture's Alpine Solutions. It was not to specifications as the request for proposals required 1,000 pound sacks and they only provide 1,000 kilogram. So the winning bids or the recommended bid is the New Deal de-icing at 1,193 for 1,000 pounds. Even though the per pound New Deal de-icing compound is more expensive, this is the only bid that was to our specification of the 1,000 pound sack. Sawyer staff is limited to using this 1,000 pound sack due to our equipment limitations and to reduce our waste of product. Based off the orders for the de-ice compound during last season, it's expected that during the 21 season, the airport will need to order approximately 9,000 pounds of de-ice compound, leaving 21,000 available for use in 2021 if approved. This purchase has been allotted again from the airfield maintenance budget for the airport and will be pursued for reimbursement through the CARES Act.
So the recommendation is for the Marquette County Board of Commissioners to approve the New Deal de-icing bid of $1,193.46 per 1,000 pounds, allow staff to purchase runway de-icing agent on an as-needed basis up to 30,000 pounds.
Yes, we do purchase at about 3,000 pounds,
What did we use last year?
How much we used last year? I don't know the exact amount. It says here,
About?
about 9,000 pounds, for this year, and then falling into 22 would be about 21,000, so Normally in the beginning of the season, you don't need as much, but then farther on, we have more icing.
You know, the only problem, I was sitting here converting my kilograms to pounds.
Yes, yep.
So it's,
It's
that first one's $812 per 1,000 pounds, if you convert that over.
Yeah, 81 cents per pound.
Right, it's
48% higher, New-Deal is.
right.
Yeah, it's just if we did purchase the kilogram, you would have so much product lost, or you wouldn't use it, and if it's left in the truck, it can then damage the truck, so we don't have the means to store that. It could be something in the future, but we have to throw on the option.
Okay.
Move to approve staff recommendation.
Support.
Motion by Commissioner Allen, supported by Commissioner Nordine. So
Thank you.
I guess what next, the variations on which one do we use for, as far as the weather?
Well, with,
We use a combo of both depending. Did you ask which one do we use depending on the weather, or which one do you prefer? For example, if there's a heavier icing, we probably use a liquid that kind of hits it harder with the solid. But if it's a lighter icing, we would maybe use a sand combination with either or to minimize cost.
last year with using both the liquid and the solid compounds, it was very effective for us to keep the airport open as we have been striving over the last handful of years, working with the FAA's new matrix of weather reporting or runway condition reporting. Both having both the liquid and the dry chemical has really helped us. Couple that with the brooms, and then we're definitely making huge strides in being able to keep our airport open, or if we do have to close, keep only having it closed for a very short period of time. And Megan has done quite a bit of research on these various products, namely with the dry compound. There is a significant difference in cost, but it is coupled to the fact that our equipment is only capable, we're only really capable of putting in 1,000 pounds at a time. We don't have the equipment or would you say, a hopper of sorts to measure out less than that. And once you open a sack of the compound, it absorbs the moisture in and around, and we could potentially waste a significant portion if it got wet and hardened up, and then we would be more or less wasting the products rather than dispensing it.
We have a motion and a support. Any further comments, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to F, resolution for joining coalition to grow outdoor recreation and economic opportunity. And QPED has been very involved with this effort, and we're trying to get Marquette County involved in it as kind of the leader. So yes, I would ask for support of the resolution.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Support.
I think there's a typo in the fourth paragraph where it says, whereas the Iron Range Heritage Trail Committee supports the enhancement of the train, I think it's supposed to be trails.
We'll make that change.
There's no train?
We have a motion and a support. Need a roll call, please.
Commissioner Arnold?
Yeah, aye.
Commissioner Adamini? Commissioner Adamini?
Yes.
Commissioner Nordine?
Aye.
Chairperson Corrigan?
Yes. Next, we have 2% fund allocations. Agreed to give $5,000 to Marquette County Health Department Suicide Prevention Alliance, Marquette County Planning Department, Little Trout Lake Park improvements, $19,439.07. Center for Native American Studies at NMU Symposium support, $10,000. Marquette County Prosecutor's Office Superior Child Advocacy Center, $5,000. Marquette County Aging Services, RSVP, Marquette County, $5,000. Marquette County Sheriff's Office AED Initiative, $10,000. So
Move approval as staff recommended.
moved by Commissioner Narvin. Have support,
Support.
Commissioner Alholm.
Well, I was happy to see that we got what we requested, but that's such an odd thing with the Little Trout Lake. It went from 20,000, somebody needed $560.93 for something.
Maybe that was that project.
But I was happy to see that they matched those, because many times we put them in there and they give us parts, you know? So I thought that was pretty good,
One of the better ones we've had for a while.
right? And that's KVIC, I think.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, COVID test site, they're asking the state of Michigan implemented a COVID testing program earlier this year operated by HONU Management location at the Sawyer International Airport to provide free COVID-19 testing to the traveling and general public. Both rapid result tests and general COVID tests are offered. Program was created to track COVID virus coming into the area, so they want to come back and do it a little longer, right?
Yeah, so it was created so the inbound passengers were able to get tested if requested, but it's not required. And that was open to the travelers, airport employees, general public, anyone that needed to have testing. Those are our current hours right now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to 4. This short-term agreement that was previously approved began on June 14th and is slated to end on the 9th of this month. The state of Michigan requested the extension of this agreement with county management through January 31st of next year. They're also requesting vaccinations to be offered at this site. It's expected these will be offered on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and the weekends, but that is not set in stone yet. Also, their current fees and charges will remain unchanged through the extension of this agreement. They're currently paying $334 per month for utility and janitorial costs, including rent. And then also, due to an overwhelming amount of traffic from the general public, we're also proposing that the testing only be available for the traveling public in and out of the airport and airport-related employees, which will assist in the overcrowding in the airport terminal we've seen in the past few weeks, and keeping the airport terminal employees at less risk.
I'd move that we support the staff recommendation and approve this lease extension.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Narvin, supported by Commissioner Alholm to support the recommendation of staff to approve this lease and extension of HONU management through January 31, 2022. How did it work so far?
It's been working really well. The only negative, I think, is I think with other areas testing has gotten a little overwhelmed, have sent a little too much people over to the airport, which has created a little overcrowding. So that's really the only negative, but I think it's really helped the public.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, we have appointment to Central Dispatch. There's a letter of resignation from Jeremy Loxo, MCTA representative, and a letter from Jim Nankervis recommending Don Schlecknick to the vacancy. She is a resident of Ely Township, and it's recommended to be appointed to the County Dispatch Policy Board.
I would move that we approve the recommendation of Mr. Nankervis of Don Schukenek to the vacancy.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any public comment? Commissioner comments, the UP Commissioner meeting on Thursday, Friday morning in Hannibal.
There's one for public comment online.
We have a Zoom.
Amber Franchise.
And
Public comment from an individual on the Zoom. Introduce yourself, please.
You say it was Amber?
Amber.
Hello?
Ooh, that was shocking.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, this is Amber Brancha. I'm calling from Nagani. And I'm calling in regards to the mask mandates. We were at your last meeting, so I'm coming back again. We were sent to the House Board last Wednesday. They provided false information to us. They specifically stated at their meeting that they were voting on continuing the mask mandate, that would be presented to you the next day at 3 p.m. for a vote. And if it was approved, it would remain in effect. Your meeting was canceled with no intent to reschedule and no vote to occur. Therefore, the mandate should be null and void. And this is per the Health Department Director and the Health Board Chair that said that in the meeting. So I'm calling, asking why you haven't rescinded yet. It could be rescinded at effective September 29th, as it wasn't validated. So I'd like a response and an explanation as to why it's still in effect.
Do we have any, is it all right? Ask the board if I can respond.
Go ahead.
The board lacks any authority, and the health board lacks any authority to change the order of the medical director of the health department. End of story.
But sir, all across the state of Michigan, commissioners are taking action and using their power over the health department to rescind. Do you have an explanation for that?
End of story.
So, why did the health department board state that last week that they were coming to you for a final approval vote? I'm just confused.
They may come here eventually, I don't know.
Well, they shouldn't tell a large group of people in a room that's being recorded that it was.
Any other public comment you have?
I think we people need an answer to that question, sir.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Any other public comment on Zoom?
Heather, hand up, but.
Any public comment in the room? Public comments closed.
Jerry, there was one more on it.
No one else?
Hello?
Go ahead.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Laura Stanolis from Republic. I'd just like to follow up on Amber's question. I guess you are unable to answer it. I think we deserve an answer. And I guess since you won't, I just want to say that I'm very disappointed with how you treated the parents at the last meeting, how you just brushed off their concerns. I guess I don't need a response from you. I just want to say that you should be ashamed of yourselves. and I hope that you'll do the right thing.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Public comment is ended, the meeting is adjourned.
Oh, I don't know if you had commissioner comments yet. I was waiting. But we don't have Johnny here, so I have to say something. I think that we should certainly recognize that this past week we had 1,000 positive COVID cases in the Upper Peninsula. We have a significant uptick. I hate to have a meeting and ignore one of the most important things that are happening in our community. 228 of those cases in the last week were here in Marquette County, so there's a significant uptick. I do want to make a comment about the mask order. I can't help myself because I've spent a lot of time thinking about it in the last week. And not the mask order as much as the budget bill. I think that masks are probably the right thing to do because I think you need to err on the side of caution, and we have a significant problem here with COVID. With that said, however, I have a real big problem with the Act, Public Act 87 of 2021, which was put into effect September 29th, because of the two things that were added. And it took us a while to find the second one. The first one we knew about for about a week. The second one I didn't see either, and it took us all a while to find that. And I'm a little bit disappointed and unhappy with the legislature to stick things like that in a funding bill. I think if they wanted to do that, they should have had it as a standalone bill, and their legislature and they can do what they want. But they stuck it in this budget bill, and it makes me really peeved. However, I guess they don't care if I'm peeved because I can't tell them how to do business, and that's what they do. I'm equally unhappy with the governor because the governor could have vetoed those sections, and she chose not to. And I don't know if any of you have looked at the bill. I have the cover sheet in front of me, and she did veto 5 sections of that bill. And she chose not to veto those 2 sections that deal with the mask mandates. And I find that hard to believe, hard to understand. And then afterwards, she wants to come out and say that she thinks they're unconstitutional. Well, that's not her province, that's the court's province. And I'll tell you, my example with that when I'm trying to work my way through it is that a year and a half ago, the state of Michigan shut down our state, the commerce in our state because of the COVID pandemic. And a lot of people said that those 2 statutes that allowed that were unconstitutional. However, that didn't matter until a court decided that. In the meantime, there were a lot of people that got infractions and tickets, and they were enforced because it's the law until a court says it's not the law. And we all take oaths to follow the law as written, not to follow the ones we like, but to follow all the laws, and especially as attorneys. And there's a whole bunch of us here, 4 of us. So I have a problem with that. And I have a problem with that other section, because the other section says, section 250, that the director or a local health officer shall not issue or enforce any orders or other directives that require an individual in this state who's under the age of 18 to wear a face mask or face covering. I started my commissioner comment by saying I thought face masks were a good idea. I also think they're contrary to that statute, and I think they're probably unlawful. And I have a big problem with that. So I don't know what to do about it, but I feel like we got stuck in the middle of this. And to answer something that somebody said on public comment, we don't have the authority to enact mask mandates or anything else, and we don't have the authority to rescind them. And I looked at that, and we just don't. That law goes to the health officer. And I don't know what other counties are doing and whether they're making these non-binding, gratuitous motions. I don't care what the other counties are doing. I don't believe we have the authority to enact those orders, and I don't think we have the authority to rescind them. But we also should not be supporting things that have become unlawful, I think, in the last few days. So,
But we
I have a
don't
big problem.
know that it hasn't been tested by the court, as you noted
Yeah.
earlier, that whether it's actually unconstitutional or not.
Doesn't matter.
It'll have to be.
No. Yeah, but.
Oh, because it's an order now.
Right. So what happened, when there's a statute, it's presumed to be valid until it's proven by court not to be. It hasn't been challenged yet, so that means you got to treat it as valid. Just like we treated those 2 statutes, 2 acts last, year and a half ago when they shut the whole state down. We treated those as valid until a court said they weren't valid. And that's the problem you run into here is that, I don't like that the legislature put us in this position. I don't like that the governor, she should have vetoed those things, and I don't like that she put us in that position. And to tell you the truth, I don't like that the health officer put us in that position. My opinion to him was not to do it, but,
Anyway, if the legislature wanted to change the law, they should have done it legislatively.
They should have.
That's the way you do business the right way, not put it in like this and,
yes.
you know, leave everybody in the dark.
But I do want to point out one more thing, despite everything I just said. The state of Michigan at any time can pass a mask ordinance for anybody, for youths or anybody else. And so can the schools. It's just that because of what was said here in this Public Act 87, health officers can't, and they're not enforceable any longer.
This board can take care of its own destiny in this matter anytime we want.
On another topic, there were some statements about public comment and that there was disappointment because of way parents were treated at last meeting. And I don't think people understand what public comment is based on that type of comment. It's not an invitation for debate or dialogue or discussion. It's simply an opportunity for members of the public to come and state their opinions or concerns or thoughts. It's not really a requirement or even an expectation that we involve ourselves in a conversation on the topics presented through public comment. So I think there's a misunderstanding of what is going on during public comment by a lot of members of the public.
I agree.
Anyway, any staff comments? Next week, pass a budget for 2022 and looks very sound, and I think everybody should be happy that we can do the things that the county needs to do for the next year. We have treasurer now is sworn in, so we have that hole filled on her, so that's good news.
We didn't stick anything in our budget, did we? I'll have to go look.
So anyway, meeting's adjourned.